This Love is Blind reunion is the best Love is Blind reunion we have ever had. Ever. Like, since the inception of the show, this is hands down this is the best reunion we have ever had, because now it is obvious that the show is actually listening to the viewers. The show is actually listening to the audience. Okay, you guys just have to go and watch it. I don't think I'll be able to capture how captivating how interesting this reunion is, you guys. Like, I got teary-eyed at some point, I was angry at some point, I was irritated at some point. Like, it was so good. You guys should just go and watch it. But yeah, if you have watched it already, then let's discuss it. And if you haven't watched it and you just want to jump to the discussion, then you're free to join us. Okay, hi guys, this is Reality Check with Adaeze, and today we're going to be analyzing Love is Blind season 6 reunion. Okay, I've already analyzed the show. I have, I think, 3 videos or 4 videos where I talked about the show, so you can just go and check it out. I'll link it down below, or you can just check my channel and you see it. Okay, today we are discussing just the reunion. It aired this morning, okay, for us, but people that in America, it aired in the night for them. Okay, and the tea on this show has been piping hot, you guys. I'm trying to just contain myself and just get into it, but I need to explain to you guys how piping hot the tea has been. I was shocked at so many revelations, and I was also surprised that some people actually agreed to come for this reunion. And I am actually happy that most of the people on this show showed up to the reunion, okay, except one person. I mean, we always have that one person who refuses to show up at the reunion, and in this one it was Matt. If you guys remember him, Matthew, the serial killer. You guys, I've changed my opinion about him a little bit, and I'm going to get into it today, okay? But yeah, every other person that has been significant on the show was there, and also they had some people from the previous seasons also show up. I will mention most of them in the course of this video, but I was a little bit disappointed that we did not see the couples from season 1. I feel like the couples from season 1, we don't see them a lot. Now there are 2 couples that, you know, are still together from season 1. The first couple is Laura and Cameron, and the other couple, their one is even worse. That's Amber and Barnett. Okay, I remember them so well. Yeah, let's get into the couples. I'm just going to follow my normal arrangement, okay, starting from Amy and Johnny and ending with Clay and AD. I think I always end with Clay and AD, so I'm just going to follow that same arrangement. So Amy and Johnny, they are still married. We all knew that. They are happy and their families all get along well. They travel together even with their families. Amy's father calls what's his name, Johnny's father, a lot. You know, as usual, nothing much about them because of how good they are as a couple. They also addressed the birth control conversation, and Johnny said that he didn't know much about birth control before he started talking with Amy, so he had to go and do his research, and that condoms were actually on the table because people kept wondering, like, don't you know what condoms are? But yeah, Amy said that she did not get on birth control, but they have figured it out. I don't know what they decided to go with, but they figured it out, and it's not an issue anymore. Apparently all is well and good in the land of Johnny and Amy. I don't think anybody expected any hot gist to come out from both of them. They still remain a sweet couple, and I'm happy for them. Okay, out of the way, let's move on to the next one. So the next one, according to my own arrangement, is Kenneth and Brittany. Okay, they were supposed to be like the second best couple before things ended between them, and it was so weird the way things ended between them. But now the confusing tea is that Kenneth and Brittany are still friends, very close friends. Like, they speak to each other every day, kind of friends. Like, they have a very, very tight bond. So much so that they had to have a conversation about how they are going to conduct themselves when each person, or when one of them or both of them, fall in love or have other partners. So me, I'm now asking myself, what exactly is stopping them from being in a relationship with each other? Because from what they have described to me, they are both in a relationship. However, I said described to me. Yes, it's to me they describe it because I don't understand it. However, why are they phrasing it as we are just friends? So they also talked about how they both said they were going to wait till marriage to have sex, right? So if they were both going to wait till marriage to have sex and they are not having sex right now because they are not married, then for me, what they just described is a relationship. But they are saying that they're just very, very close friends that talk to each other every day, FaceTime every day, send messages every day. Like, make it make sense. In my own opinion, one person is in denial while the other person is delulu, okay? But that's if Kenneth is not gay, like some people are alleging, okay? It's not me, people are alleging that Kenneth is not with Brittany because he's looking for a Barnett. Now, to the people that I initially felt were the most boring couple, I wasn't really interested in their story, but now they have kind of become the center focus of the show, or one of the center focuses of the show, okay? And that is Jeremy, Sarah Ann, and Laura. So Laura was not physically at the reunion because she said she was in Spain or Santa Monica or whatever. She was somewhere for a job thing, but she joined via Zoom. And Jeremy was there, and now they asked Jeremy if he's in a relationship right now. He said yes, he's in a relationship with somebody, and then they revealed Sarah Ann. So Jeremy and Sarah Ann actually became a couple. When they brought Sarah Ann out, it was so awkward. Even the way she almost like she shook Jeremy's hand and then kissed him, it was such an awkward entrance. Like, everybody was like, awkward. By the way, they had an audience, okay? That was where the old couples or the previous couples and previous people from previous season or people from previous season were sitting. They were sitting with an actual audience, right? It was so cringy when she came out. I feel like the main reason why it was cringy is because they have both been receiving so much smoke on the internet, okay? All of them actually, but mostly Sarah Ann and Jeremy and even Laura, they have been receiving so much smoke on the internet. Sarah Ann has been called all sorts. Jeremy has been accused of all sorts. So it was kind of awkward and a little bit maybe scary for them to come on stage. For Sarah Ann to come on stage and meet Jeremy, you could tell that Jeremy was already uncomfortable. He wore his Hawaiian shirt, but you could tell that he was actually uncomfortable. So when they even introduced Laura, Sarah Ann was even saying like, should they clap? Should they clap? Love is Blind, what is it, the producers, you guys are very, very messy, because I'm very sure they could have muted her mic for that, or not just muted her mic, muted her audio. Because how they actually do these shows is that everybody has their own mic, right? But when they are editing it, they will mute some people's mics and they will increase the volume of some people's mics or just highlight some people's mics, okay? So they actually purposely left that part where Sarah Ann was saying, should she clap, and then Jeremy was like, no. So the host really grilled Jeremy, asking him about why did he lie, you know, that he had a fiance before. He said he didn't lie, he actually told. And Sarah Ann and even Laura, you know, corroborated it, that he told them that he was engaged before. He told them about his house that he just sold. But they were not asking him, okay, why did you lie about your location? He said he didn't lie about his location, that he just went to Sarah Ann's house to drop her there actually, but that he was not at her house and that nothing inappropriate happened between them, okay? Laura went in on him, calling him a clown. Sarah Ann was trying to defend him, saying that in the pods that Laura was saying things about her, telling Jeremy that Sarah Ann was a pick-me girl. Sarah Ann was not saying that, but no, you are the one that is the pick-me girl, okay? I feel like people are not going to pick up that part, right? The part of Sarah Ann saying that in the pods, Laura told Jeremy that Sarah Ann was a pick-me girl. Now, if that is true, of which I don't find it hard to believe, okay, knowing the kind of person that Laura is to an extent, if that is true, then Laura is actually a pick-me girl as well. And that might further explain why Jeremy went for Laura instead of Sarah Ann, because if you watch my review about it, then I said that when it came down to the conversations, I feel like Jeremy and Sarah Ann actually had better conversations. They were actually more upfront and they had deeper, more intense conversations. Even though from Jeremy's perspective, it never got serious. I was like, how much more serious will it get if you're talking about your politics, what you think about abortion? At some point, even Jessica added her mouth and was telling Sarah Ann that, yes, you said we are going to have him and you eventually had him. And Sarah Ann was telling Jessica, but you saw me heartbroken, you saw me come out there and pour my heart to you, and at the end of the day, you are the one that is now trying to attack me, that kind of thing, right? I was like, Jessica, who gave you the right to actually talk to Sarah Ann? Because in Sarah Ann's case, why it went the way it went is because Jeremy entertained Sarah Ann. If Jimmy were to entertain Jessica, it would have gone somehow similar, maybe not, but maybe somehow similar to the way Jeremy and Sarah Ann's own went, okay? So I feel like Jessica does not have any moral justification to be talking to Sarah Ann, okay? Now for me, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I actually feel bad for Sarah Ann and Jeremy, okay? I feel like they went in on them too much. So that's why at some point I started to feel uncomfortable at how much they were grilling Sarah Ann and Jeremy, okay? Yeah, and at some point you could see that Sarah Ann was getting really emotional. Jeremy had to calm her down. I feel like they can actually work. Jeremy and Sarah Ann can actually work. It's just that their foundation is a bit somehow. It's going to be difficult for them to build something solid on such a rocky foundation with so much input from the internet. It means that anytime they show their faces on the internet together, even if they get married tomorrow and have kids, the comment section is going to be full of trolls who cannot just move on. At some points, they even brought up the fact that Jeremy was saying that Jimmy is the villain and he's happy that, you know, Jimmy is the one that's taking all the smoke. And I was just like, the boy is just childish, okay? I don't really see him as a very malicious person, but I see him as someone who is childish and has a lot of growing up to do. Anyway, let's move on to other people. So Trevor, the Trevor that came to the show to deceive everybody. Because if you guys don't know the backstory, Trevor actually had a girlfriend, like a serious girlfriend that he was with, and he was actually sending her messages. That's on his way to the show and on his way back after the show, telling her that, oh, he's not going to fall in love with anybody, he's not going to marry anybody, that he's just going to make it look as if it is real, but that when he comes back, he's going to marry her. And they read all the text messages. In fact, this show was just hot, I beg. They read the messages on the show. This guy, shout out to Trevor though, because me, I would not have shown up on the show. Like, you couldn't have dragged me. You would have to drag me screaming and shouting for me to go on the show, knowing that my secret has been out, right? But him coming on the show after everything also makes you know that the guy does not even have sense either. Like, the guy is just, he thinks he can fool everybody. Like, he thinks because he got away with it, or he kind of got away with it initially, he thinks he can continue getting away with it. And when he came on the show and they read the text messages and they were asking him the questions, he couldn't talk. Like, he was silent. Adaeze was like, don't stop talking now, like. No, but seriously, Adaeze should be a host, okay? She should be a host of a reality show. Maybe not this one, but Adaeze can actually do well as a host because she knows what to say at the right time, okay? Hilarious sometimes, interesting sometimes, and actually very, very important at times. But yeah, so she was asking Trevor, like, say something now, talk. He couldn't talk. He was thinking of how to spin it, but this is already being filmed. He's already there. So he was like, oh, he cannot really talk because he doesn't know what to say, but that him and his girlfriend were so toxic, this one and that one, that he really wanted to come and find love on the show, that he was actually really devastated when Chelsea did not choose him, that he was planning, that he was even trying to play his girl, as in, he tried to frame it like he was playing his girlfriend. Like, if he had found love on the show, he would have really gotten married on the show and played his ex-girlfriend, right? Ex in quote at that point. Now she will not be his ex. Then Chelsea now asked an important question, like, okay, so if we had gotten married, right, it means that your girlfriend or your ex-girlfriend would have been in the picture, should have been lingering there, like should have been an issue in our marriage. He didn't know what to say. He now even said that, oh, when he came out of the pause, he was really, really emotional, that even Johnny, that yeah, you guys seem to trust Johnny. It just shows that the guy he thinks he's smart, he thinks he's calculative, that Johnny can really tell you guys how devastated I really was. And I like the fact that Amy jumped in and said, were you devastated because Chelsea left you or because you were going to leave the show? Because to me, it seems like his devastation was more to the fact that he was going to leave the show, not because of Chelsea, okay? So Nick was now saying that this show is actually people's real life experience. Like, people actually came on this show to actually find love, okay? I know I'm saying actually a lot, but yeah, people actually came on this show to actually find love, and it's a very serious experiment. You can see the product of this experiment in the audience. You know, the other couples who have been married and are there, some are expecting babies, some are still together, some strong friendships have been built on this show. So if anybody comes there to try and use the show for fame, they are going to call the person out, okay? So I was like, that's that's good, okay, because if you're not careful, the show is going to turn into a joke. I remember saying it that the show was turning into a joke. Like, why are you all here? Like, just come and show face and grow your Instagram following. Like, why are you on the show? So apparently Jessica and Chelsea are good friends, so much so that Jessica's daughter calls Chelsea Aunt Chelsea. So I was like, that's nice. And then Jessica was saying that she thought she was good friends with Jimmy, but it turns out that they are not, because of what Jimmy said about her on one of his interviews, that she has been gracious towards him in all her interviews. She has tried to, give him props and just say good things about him. But he went on an interview to say that, she got good edits, that she left their dates, that she was hounding him so much, and she left their dates in just 10 minutes. Meanwhile, it was like an hour plus. So Love is Blind show even showed the receipts, and Jessica was right. Okay, you guys see that gaslighting thing, the guy almost gaslit Jessica on top of the stage there. That's why I said in my last review, I remember saying that as much as Chelsea has her own issues, Jimmy is not innocent, okay? And because Jimmy's own is kind of subtle and the way he talks kind of subtle, we tend to see the woman as a crazy person. Meanwhile, the chinchi, not even chinchi, what they call it, that rat that bites you and blows you breeze is actually Jimmy. So if you watch it, you will see that at some point Jessica was as if she was losing her mind. Jimmy was trying to gaslight her there. So at the end of the day, Jimmy ain't ish, okay? Chelsea looks like she has changed, she has grown. I don't like her dress. I don't know why her dress looked somehow. They talk about her revealing that him and his friend had slept together, and she was like, she wasn't really conscious about the cameras, and sometimes she used to forget that cameras are even there. So I definitely understand her, but she shouldn't have, and she apologized for it. Yeah, that was it about them. I noticed that Jimmy said we love each other so much, so I'm thinking they're still together. I don't know if they asked them if they are still together. I don't think they asked them, but yeah, I'm thinking that Jessica and Jimmy are still together. There was some news about Chelsea and Jimmy being spotted in Florida on vacation. So yeah, maybe they're still together. I don't know. For me, everybody should just go their separate ways. Also, I would say that for somebody who did not stay till the end, Jessica was sure getting a lot of attention. Like, she's almost like the belle of the show. Like, she was getting a lot of attention. And also on social media, she has almost over 600 followers, 759,000 followers at this point. So for someone who did not make it to the end of the show, she is sure the one that is getting the most publicity and the most gain out of the show. I feel, well, aside those who are married, yeah, the marriage is a gain, okay, whatever, but aside people that are married, she's the one that's gaining the most from the show. Now let's move on to Clay and Adaeze. Jesus, oh my goodness, this was the one that I was like, So before this reunion aired, there was a clip of Adaeze and Clay at his mother's birthday party in October or so. Yeah, so I was like, Clay and Adaeze together. I was like, oh, whatever. Like, I said, and I felt like she's kind of person that would still date Clay, and Clay would cheat on her and even abandon her and even break up with her before she would let him go, right? So that was what I thought. Okay. However, on this reunion, from what I'm seeing, they are not together and the tables have turned. Now, Clay is the one that really wants Adaeze in his life. He got really emotional. He said she's the love of his life, that he doesn't know why he messed up, or I think he knows why he messed up, but he feels like he was self-sabotaging. That before he came on the show, he hadn't really watched the show, that he felt really bad watching their season back and seeing how excited she was, that he felt bad for wasting everybody's time, that he had even apologized to everybody, that after the show, they did not talk for a while. She said she had nothing to say to him, while he said he wanted to just respect her space and give her some space. And then he reached out to her and called her after so many of his texts had gone unresponded to, like he didn't respond to his messages. But yeah, he sounded very remorseful and emotional, that he's trying to be a good person, but that he kept feeling like he's not a good person, he doesn't deserve marriage and love. That was why he didn't want to go through with it. He felt like it's better for him not to go through with it. I feel like all the things he said, he was not lying. However, there are things that he should have said. There are things he did not say that he should have said, right? He should have just said the whole truth about how he feels. Remember at the end of last season, he said that he isn't sure about her finances and he wasn't deeply in love. So I'm not really falling for his crying and all that sub story. And I still think that him and Adaeze are secretly together, or maybe they hooked up after the show at some point. But yeah, it's not as straightforward as they are trying to make it sound. He actually said he was now watching Love is Blind on the show. He now felt like, oh, the men there were really serious while him is not serious. So they asked him who he was referring to, and he said it was Brett. Yeah, Brett and Tiffany are such a beautiful couple. They were so easy on their season. They are one of the most mature couples there, and you know, I mean, Brett is mature as a person, like age-wise. I think he's 37 this year. So Clay shouldn't have been comparing himself with Brett, because you know, everybody is different. And I think he said it that yeah, everybody is different. So they asked him if he still wants to date AD, and he was like, yes, 100%. He still wants to date AD. She's the love of his life. And AD was like, nah, like, I was like, girl, look at you. Then the shocker for me of this whole reunion was the fact that AD actually dated Matt after the show. Matt, the serial killer. He's not a serial killer, Sha. But Matt, the guy that was giving us, you know, serial killer vibes, AD actually dated him. I don't know, I was surprised, but at the same time, I was not so surprised, okay? Because again, AD that we saw on the show, I always felt like AD was just too desperate, okay? Because again, like I said, if you remember when I talked about Matt and AD and Amber, I remember saying that how come a guy played two people on a show, the white woman left, the black person stayed back, and is even trying to understand where he's coming from. I was talking about it from the aspect of why do black women accept nonsense a lot, right? Because Amber and AD went through the same process. Amber left the show completely while AD was there trying to understand Matt, and then Matt left her and left the show and went after Amber. Why? So hearing that she dated him afterwards, I was like, okay, like, girl, I was already just clapping for you now that you did not date Clay. Now you went to go and date Matthew. Like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you, my sister? You know, my sister, I beg, my sister can never behave like that. My sister would never behave like that. But yeah, she dated Matthew. Even though we joked about him having serial killer vibes, I felt like Matthew was the kind of person that was just on the show to just come and act drama and go. I always felt like his real personality was who he was when he was with AD, and he was just calm and just talking like a regular normal human being. I always felt like that was the real Matthew, and the other ones he was doing was just drama for the sake of being on TV. I don't feel like he even wanted to be on the show, to be honest. I feel like he just saw it as an opportunity to come and just have fun, and that's what he was trying to do by giving all those different characters that he was giving and saying that America is behind him or is on his side right now. I also kind of think that he might actually be, neurodivergent, okay? Matthew might actually be neurodivergent. He might actually be on a spectrum of something somewhere with the way he behaves, okay? Because AD said that he's very OCD. No, she didn't even say OCD. She said he's very disciplined and that he likes to plan everything. Like basically, her and Matthew live different lives. That Matthew likes to plan everything and he goes by the minutes with everything. Like, he plans every second of every day, which kind of tells me that there might be something neurodivergent about Matthew, which is why we are getting the vibe that we're getting. It might not be serial killer vibes. It might just be that vibe of maybe OCD, maybe on the autism spectrum, maybe OCD because he's on the autism spectrum. I don't know. I am not diagnosing him. I'm just saying that might be a likelihood. That might be part of why he was coming off the way he was coming off, okay? But girl, you went on a date with him. She said, okay, now let me tell you guys what AD said, okay? And I was just like, sister, you're lying. Sister, you are lying. AD, why you lying? Why are you effing lying? AD said that she went on 2.5 dates with Matthew, right? I'm not sure who initiated the communication between them, but she said that their first date was him apologizing to her about, you know, the way things ended in the pods, that he felt like he played both ladies and, you know, he apologized. Then they went on a second date and then he also made dinner for her, okay? Sister, is that all? Auntie AD, is that all? I personally think that they went all the way. They did everything that dating or married couples do. I personally feel that it is deeper than what she was trying to explain. Oh, 2.5 dates. I feel like they dated, because even the conversation about how they live different lives and how he's this and she's that, how did that play out if it was just 2.5 dates? Okay, I feel like it was more than that. I feel like they actually dated, and he probably was the one that said he doesn't want again. I don't know. Okay, but yeah. They also asked Clay what he thinks about the whole thing, and he was like, he has nothing negative to say about Matthew, that, it is what it is, this and that, and I was like, oh, sorry. Anyway, that was it mostly for the reunion. They actually showed other couples, told us about their stories, those that are expecting. Alexa is expecting. I already knew though. Alexa is expecting. Gianna is expecting. Gianna did not marry who she dated on the show. I remember the guy broke up with her at the altar, as in he said no at the altar, and she was so heartbroken because to me they were both beautiful together, even though she used to fly off the handle easily then. I remember clearly. And then Zach and Bliss are also expecting. I always knew about Zach and Bliss. They are having a girl. Now this part, one thing I even noticed about this part is that it was Nick that was asking all the questions about babies. Okay, it wasn't Vanessa this time, and I think it's because in the past Vanessa had received a lot of heat about asking so much about babies. Love is buying babies, love is blind babies. She has asked so much about it before, and people really gave her, especially the last reunion where it was Kwame, Brett, and Bliss. That reunion, she was so baby this, baby that, baby this, baby that, and many people were like, what nonsense, why is she putting pressure on the couples and all of that? So that, I think that's why in this reunion she didn't even ask the questions about the babies. She didn't even talk about babies or even show excitement about babies like she used to. She just avoided it very well. It was her husband that was asking the questions and talking about it, and I was like, nice, but I felt somehow like, you guys should stop doing them. You guys stop doing them like that now. The hit she got was actually a lot, and I understand why she was getting the hits that she got, but sometimes it's a woman thing to be excited about baby. So I wish they had allowed her to just express herself a little bit. Like, she should have just asked the questions normally and show more excitement than she did, but it was obvious she was trying to hold herself. I beg you, let me not say anything now before people will now start vexing and talking about babies too much. But yeah, all in all, the reunion was so good. They asked a lot of important questions. It wasn't like the former reunions where they would let something slide or they let some people go off easily. They showed the older couples. I didn't even know that Colleen and Matt are still together. I forgot about them. Okay, Colleen and Matt. Yeah, but it was nice seeing all of them together having fun. Yeah, but yeah, that's it, guys. That's it about the reunion. Let me know in the comment section what you think about AD and Clay and Matthew. I'm like, hey, my jaw was on the floor. What do you think about them? What do you think about every other person on the show? What do you think about the show in general? Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.